My name is Rory West, part of Group 17. Our client that we chose was the Cellar Aberdeen, which is a music venue located next door to the Noose and Monkey. We chose that client as I personally work at the Noose and Monkey, so it gave easy access to the venue itself for filming and interviews and any other sort of footage that we were looking for. I also meant that it gave me easier access to speaking to people, and I can gauge their understanding and opinions on the Cellar itself. So in terms of the individual roles, I did take upon the interviewing / testimonial side of the project. So in doing that, the roles that I took on were filming for some of the promotional film as well as the testimonial. So I used some of the footage I got while filming to help along with the interviews. I conducted and filmed the interviews myself as well, with some help as well, obviously. I also conducted a storyboard for the testimonial, just setting up what I wanted from the video and how I liked it to run. I edited the testimonial as well, or the film anyway, to fitting in the footage that I shot as well as the interviews that I conducted. And I also did the voiceover for the testimonial for sequences in the film where there needed a passage into the next interview. How I did that, so using my iPhone for some of the interviews, the quality seemed quite good off the iPhone, and Bronwyn, who's also a group member, I used our camera as well, while we all went down to film one day. For editing the testimonial, I used Premiere Pro. I feel pretty comfortable using that. I've used it many times before, whether that be coursework or outside things. There's a wee picture to the right of the slide, as you can see there, of the editing process. The voiceover, which at the point of the screenshot isn't inserted into the film in the screenshot, it was used with a blue Snowball microphone. Blue is a company, not the colour. That's a microphone I own myself, and they're good quality microphones. The problems that I encountered doing the project was that, seeing as the venue is in itself a music venue, that's one of the uses it can be. It is quite a dark venue, and the lighting that it does have is sort of fairy lights and flickering lights. So while getting the interviews done, I needed to make sure that the lighting was perfect. Also had to make sure that the setting for the fairy lights and the flickering lights were set to a still mode, because if not, then you don't want to want to watch a video where there's an interview and there's flickering lights in the background, because it's very off-putting. Finding the interviews was a wee bit of a problem that I did encounter, because initially I did want to include some interviews with band members, but as I mentioned before, working there, I was hoping to conduct some of those interviews while I was on shift. So once a gig was finished, if I could have a couple of seconds with a band member, but I hit a bit of an unlucky streak where gigs where I knew were on last minute got either cancelled, or the band members weren't really up for talking, unfortunately. Another one of the problems I did encounter, a slight problem at that, was finding the right balance of merging the interviews with the footage that I've shot. You need to get the correct sort of tone in the interviews. You need to know when too much of someone speaking is too much and when you need to break that up. And that was one problem I did encounter, but it wasn't overly strenuous. The solutions to that, as I mentioned, it was planning to interview a band, but since that didn't happen, I decided to add a new segment to the testimonial, which I'm adding an interview with another member of staff. I got the manager, who gave me a background and a history of the venue, as it's been in Aberdeen a long time, whether it's been that popular or not. I managed to get a backstory of it, and then I spoke to another member of staff who gave me his view and his opinion of the place and what he'd like to see in the future for the venue. So that worked out quite well in the end, but I would have liked to get some band members in. The final result, so the video is linked below, and as I've mentioned before, it includes interviews with the owner and staff from the cellar. The main reason we chose the cellar was because it's a really good venue for young upcoming bands. However, it's not that well known, and doing this whole project was with an aim to gain a wee bit more attraction to the venue, because it offers wide range of things, but it's narrowing it down there to gigs. It's also open to numerous different types of events, such as sports showings, private parties that go into a wee bit more depth in the testimonial itself. So yeah, that was the reason we picked it. But in conclusion, I think with speaking to the client, working there, it did help that I was in very regular contact with the manager, especially in what she wanted from us. She was very open, very helpful. She essentially just gave us a free rein, and did what we wanted, allowed us to do what we wanted while filming or other aspects of the project, and then once we were finished, just report back to her, give her a wee look of it, see what she thinks. If there was any changes that she would have liked, then we'd go and see what we could do to change it and make it better. I think as a group we worked pretty well. We were in constant contact, whether that be organising group meetings, organising to go and film, just checking up on each other, seeing how our progress is getting on with our individual projects. But yeah, in conclusion, everyone was happy with the client in the first place, and then the client was happy to help and happy with the final result.